I will have to say, this is going to be dated, so some people watching this won't know the reference, but I was totally Goldie Hawn in Private Benjamin. Anyone that saw that movie, that was Dale in the Army. Any mess up that could happen, I was involved in it, and it became more of a challenge to try to get out once I got in, because I was looking for something to provide the opportunity for travel. And I thought, oh, I can go all over the world, I could do this, and then education, etc. So that was a good reason to try it. But once I got in, I realized I had to either commit to it or it was going to get the better of me. So, long story short, I was in for 3 years, the Army Reserves. 2 weeks every summer we would play Army and travel to South Carolina. I did do basic training, like full-fledged, and those memories are etched because that was rough. And there are some stories involved in that I probably won't go into in too much detail to get me in trouble. But as far as just the experience overall, I was just coming out of high school and trying to determine, what path, what direction. Only knew that, I wasn't born a singer, which that was my ultimate goal, was to be a singer on stage, so that wasn't going to happen. And so travel, who doesn't want to travel? And be educated on where you're visiting. So, but again, life throws curveballs and things change, and so did my life path. But my time there, it was frustrating, it was overwhelming at times, but I would say the end result was, it was a life lesson. I learned, respect. I learned just, how to overcome certain challenges. And I also had to get my way sometimes. So it was a time in this town in Charlottesville, and I'm a townie. I was born UVA. The first female enlistees in the Army Reserves from this area, and it was myself, and I convinced my roommate at the time to join with me. She has never forgiven me. But I will say she stayed in 3 years longer than I did. So, she can't complain too much. And then the two other enlistees were two wonderful ladies that happened to be the four of us. And I still have the newspaper clipping, I think, from the Daily Progress. We made the front page. I wasn't expecting, to be a little towny 15 minutes of fame thing, but I guess that was part of it at the time. I don't know. I just remember that picture was black and white, thank goodness, I think. And that's a good thing, because the bell-bottom pants I had on were just as hippified as ever, and they were every color of the rainbow and swirls and everything else. And that is like so me.
I can see that, yeah.
So, it goes way back. I even convinced them to let me have special shoes because I didn't like those old clog things that they had. I said, no, I can't wear those. Well, and then, the boots were awesome though. Those things are still around. Everybody loves combat boots. So I learned how to shoot an M16, how to take it apart, how to put it back together, how to clean it. So there were some learning experiences, but yeah, it just being in there, the four of us, it was like us against the world, I guess. But they were, I don't know how we got away with what we did. I should have been impeded or whatever. We just did stuff we shouldn't. Where did we go for basic? Basic was in Alabama, Birmingham. Yeah. Missed the flight, ended up in an overnight stay in Miami because we stayed out too long the night before celebrating. That's how it started. So yeah. Yeah, it was something. Yeah. I don't know how I made it through, honestly.
But you did.
I did. Yeah. And, again, I learned lessons from it. And I would say to anyone that's interested in any of this that, if you're ever thinking about an alternative to college or, college is not an option. And now, I know that there's, a whole different military out there. So I can't speak to any of that. But I can say that, for me and for my time, it was an unexpected, frustrating, overwhelming, but wonderful experience. So
how was it being one of the first women in this area specifically?
Yeah, I don't know like how many other regions, but for this area, they made a big to-do about it. Yeah. And, I would go to Lynchburg sometimes because that's where my corporate connect was. So if we weren't doing the 2 weeks in the summer, I had a commitment every month for a weekend in Lynchburg, and we'd play Army. That became a challenge once I, had a relationship. But yeah, I think that for that time, if it was important enough for the front of the newspaper, somebody was interested.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we almost lost poor Sadie. She was one of the four of us, and her gas mask was leaking in the chamber. And that was terrifying, and trying to get the drill sergeant's attention because she already hated me, and I'd already gotten in so much trouble. And so I'm like, no, I'm being serious. She is in there, she can't breathe. So, I think I saved her.
There you go.
Well, Sadie was wonderful. It was, she was a little more resistant than my roommate. I could get I could convince her to do anything. We'd get into like stuff. We did get lost on our, where they took us up in a helicopter and took us out in this, unknown forest, dropped us, left us. We had to find our way back with a compass. Like, who uses compasses? Not me, coming out of high school. So it's like we're just wandering around aimlessly. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know how we're gonna survive out here. But we found a big tree, set ourselves under it and said, if we keep wandering, we're just gonna end up farther away. So why don't we just sit here until they come find us? We were going in circles. None of us could use that damn compass. And I'm like, it says north, but I recognize that. We've been here before. So we just sat down under a tree and just kind of, chilled for a while.
Just hung out.
Yeah, we were there probably half the night.
Had a good time under
Then
that
the
tree.
helicopters lights and the roar, and it's like, we're saved. I had to boot up my butt several times. She kept saying, oh, you don't know how to salute. I'm like, oh, send me home. No. I'm like, no, I can do this. I will do this. And it got to be, I actually enjoyed going to my meetings, in Lynchburg, and I got really close to the company members. I mean, they were all guys, but hey, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I made some good friends. I remember it was my birthday one weekend that we had duty. And I walked in and there was a cake the size of the whole table thing. I mean, it was huge, just a big cake wishing me happy birthday.
That's nice.
It was really nice, yeah. I chose reserves to give me an idea of whether I would want to go full Army. And, had that relationship not started with my then, I may have very well done that. I could see me doing a career in that. Yeah. But it just wasn't meant to be, So I'm glad for the time that I had and the experiences I had. And, I think it made me stronger. I have had to be a survivor pretty much my whole life. And that was just another 3 years of surviving, making it my own, That's what I did. We were one of the guys. Yeah, we could manipulate them. Oh, yeah. How do you think I got that big cake and those heels?
Fair enough.
Yeah. But they were, it's not like they would let us, it's not like they let us get over. It was like they were very engaged in helping us succeed. I was very, very close, in a, let's say superior over enlistee. I even got promoted while I was in. Yeah. I got up to an ES specialist 4. Yeah. But again, I had a great relationship with my commander, and then the Lynchburg, 1 week in a month, my colonel there was awesome. So, I was like, I could go in and felt like I could have a conversation and, say, hey, I'm sorry I stabbed that colonel with the fork, but do I have to really buff that diamond fruit? No, just kidding. I did stab the guy with the fork. It was unintentional. I was washing dishes and he had to come through the line and he just had his hand there and the fork just went flying and boom, it just stuck right in. Yeah. Then I was peeling potatoes and scrubbing bathrooms. Those were the days. But aside from that, no, I wouldn't trade it. No, I don't think I'd trade it. I would say that if there's any interest in the military at all, and you're just unsure, and you don't know if you want to make that commitment, the reserves are a good option. Because once you get through the basic and you do the summer, play Army, play whatever reservist branch you're in, you still have time for your life, but you're also gaining what it is you were interested in joining the military for in the first place. So it's a way to choose that life without, that full commitment. I have to say that overall, the good, the bad, the ugly, I'm glad I went through it. And I don't think you can have the good without the bad, and because it always seems to creep in somewhere. And making the best of what you're dealing with. JABA as an agency, which I absolutely knew nothing about, and have been in this area. I'm a townie, born UVA, and at a time in my life when things were, very emotional, frustrating, just overwhelming. Also being a caregiver for my aging parents. So 4 years ago, you know, I come here as a part-time receptionist, and I am, you know, still doing my as much, I would say, not so much hands-on as remote caregiving with my parents, but I lost both of them 3 weeks apart, and the support and the just the environment, the being able to cry on the shoulder, the have the conversations that I needed to have, being able to just let it out, to be, you know, in the moment of what I was dealing with, and that all came from JABA. It came from my connection here at JABA, and the help that, you know, I received in learning, you know, certain services were available that, oh, I didn't know that, I could do that for them, or I didn't know that. So, you know, just the senior help department alone, just so many resources that I wasn't even aware of. And like I said, I'm a townie. So the 4 years that I've been here, I've gained so much knowledge on just how much the community actually depends on, but also how well JABA does in providing those services. JABA has been so good with the services they provide that people have the opportunity to do things that they wouldn't have had necessarily been able to do.